Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Irianingsih. I'm from Magister Manajemen Universitas Negeri Jakarta. First, I would like to thank you to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala who have given me healthy so I can finish my thesis. And the second, I would like to thank you to my thesis supervisor, Profesor Dr. Gatot Nasir Ahmad MSI and Profesor Agung Darmawan Bugdadi MM PhD. For giving me opportunity to presenting my thesis in the title of The Role of Environmental, Social, and Governance and the Risk of Financial Information Disclosure in Investment Efficiency in Environmentally Sensitive Industrial Companies in ASEAN 5 in the period 2018 to 2022. The background of my thesis is investment activities have a potential to help develop the company. Investment can be said to be efficient. Companies must be able to avoid situations of overinvestment and underinvestment. To prevent the emergence of information asymmetry which can cause over or underinvestment, companies must pay attention to financial and non-financial performance, one of which is ESG performance. ESG disclosure has an important role in fulfilling investor demands. ESG has become a tool for investors in making investment decisions. Most Asian countries have recently introduced regulation regarding mandatory disclosure of information related to ESG. Information transparency is positively related to investment efficiency for companies with strong governance. Weak corporate governance can lead to manipulation of financial information, which as a result creates information inefficiency in determining share price in the capital market. Company in the energy, mining, iron, construction, chemical, and paper processing industrial can be classified as environmentally sensitive industrial companies by having production processes and business operations that affect the environment. Even so, companies is environmentally sensitive industrial experience difficulty in building a reputation for ESG awareness and improving good relations with stakeholders due to the company environmentally unfriendly production processes. The formulation of the problem: does the implementation on environmentally, social, and governance affect investment efficiency in environmentally sensitive industrial companies in ASEAN 5? Does the risk of financial information disclosure affect investment efficiency in environmentally sensitive industrial companies in ASEAN 5? The research purposes is knowing the influence of environmental, social, and governance on investment efficiency in environmentally sensitive industrial companies in ASEAN 5. And then to determine the influence of the risk of financial information disclosure on investment efficiency in environmentally sensitive industrial companies in ASEAN 5. The scope of the research is environmentally sensitive industrial companies in ASEAN 5 listed on the Indonesian Stock Exchange, Singapore Stock Exchange, Malaysia Stock Exchange, Philippines Stock Exchange, and the Thailand Stock Exchange in the period 2018 till 2022. And then only focus on the public companies or those that have been listed on the stock exchange of each country. And then the theories related to the research. One is signaling theory. Signaling theory, according to the Wolf and Dodge, signaling theory explains why companies have to initiative or an encouragement to provide information to external parties. The signaling theory emerged from pragmatic accounting theory, where The market will perceive information signals and move according to the information obtained. To this information signal, the market itself can differentiate the quality of companies around it. And then the agency theory. According to the Supriano 2018, the concept of agency theory is contractual relationship between the principal and agent. Agency theory states that stakeholders are the principal and the management is the agent. Where practice there is a possibility to management is not always in the interest of the principal. Therefore, the need to make efficient contract is very important because this is to avoid selfish affection. And then the legitimacy theory. The legitimacy theory is that was first coined by Dowling and Pfeffer, which focused on the interaction between companies and the society. This theory considers that society is an important factor in the development of company in the long term. And then the disclosure theory. Disclosure is an important part for cannot be excluded from financial reports according to the concept. Technical disclosure is the final accounting process, namely the presentation of all financial statements. Disclosure theory assumes in certain circumstances, if a company discloses more information, the benefit obtained will be greater than the cost incurred. And then the environmental social governance. ESG is a company sustainability standard in carrying out its business activities, which consists of three indicators. The namely is environmental, social, and governance. Countries in Southeast Asia have their own ESG disclosure regulation. Disclosure of non-financial information can be used as an important indicator in assessing and evaluating a company's performance during its operational activities and its impact on these three criteria. The ESG score classification, the one is if the score is under 0.08333, the grade is D. D score indicates for relative ESG performance and insufficient degree of transparency in reporting material ESG data to in publicly. And then the risk of financial information disclosure. Information disclosure means publishing financial information relating to a company in financial reports. The risk of financial information disclosure has a positive and significant relation to the investment efficiency. And then company financial performance. Financial performance can be measured by the level of profitability. Profitability is a company's ability to generate profits in a certain period, which can be calculated using performance-based accounting through the return of asset and a return on equity. And then investment efficiency. Investment efficiency means the organization invests in the project with positive net present value. Investment efficiency increases with the share concentration through improved corporate governance, such as reducing agency conflict. And environmentally sensitive industry. Environmentally sensitive industries are industries that are under greater pressure and disclose greater sustainability information compared to other industries. The grouping of environmentally sensitive industry consists of the oil industries, gases, chemical and mining, metal and forestry products. Conceptual frameworks. The research flow is identification of the problems, hypothesis preparation, formulation of the problem, data collection, final data processing, interpretation of the result, and then conclusion and the recommendation. And the frameworks is environmentally, social, and government have effect to investment efficiency. And then the risk of financial information disclosure have effect in investment efficiency. With control variables, there are tangible asset, leverage, and company performance. The population is companies in environmentally sensitive industries in ASEAN 5 that have active status and are listed on the Indonesian Stock Exchange, Singapore Stock Exchange, Malaysia Stock Exchange, Philippines Stock Exchange, and Thailand Stock Exchange. And the sample using purposive sampling. The sample determination criteria is the company is included in the environmentally sensitive industry category in ASEAN 5. Companies with active status and registered on the stock exchange on each countries. And then the companies including in the sample have dependent and independent variable from 2018 till 2022. The variable operationalization, the dependent variable using investment efficiency with that formula. And then the independent variable using environmentally, social, and governance with that formula. And then disclosure on financial information and with that formula. And then control variable using tankability with that formula, and then leverage with that formula, and then company performance with that formula. The data analysis method. One is descriptive statistical analysis using average value, minimum value, maximum value, and the standard deviation. Two, determination of the estimation model using Chow test, Hausman test, Lagrange multiplier test. And three, assumption classic test using normality test, heteroscedasticity test, multicollinearity test. Four, using regression equation analysis. And five, hypothesis test using partial test and simultaneous test. Six, coefficient of determination test. A small coefficient of determination value indicates that the ability of the independent variable to influence the dependent variable is very limited, vice versa. Descriptive analysis. The descriptive analysis is one, the overall ESG variable shows an average value of 64.36% and a standard deviation of 10.01. This means that the average value is greater than the standard deviation, thus indicating that the data variation is low. And then the financial information disclosure variable has an average value of 0.85 and a standard deviation of 3.78. This means that the average value is smaller than the standard deviation, thus indicating that this is a large variation in the data. The tangibility variable has an average value of 0.2836 and a standard deviation of 0.2427. This means that the average value is higher than the standard deviation, thus indicating that the variation in the tangible data is low. And the next is the leverage variable. Has an average value of 0.43457 and a standard deviation of 0.2299. This means that the average value is greater than the standard deviation, thus indicating that the variation of a company's leverage data is low. And then the company performance shows an average value of 3.91%, and the standard deviation is 9.93. This means that the average value is smaller than the standard deviation, thus indicating that the data variation is large. The investment efficiency variable has an average value of minus 0.00000008 and a standard deviation of 1.349. This means that the average value is smaller than standard deviation, thus indicating that the variation is company is profitability data is high. And then the selection of the best model. This is using test selection. Based on the result of the test, using if you stand, a probability have value of 0.0000 was obtained. This shows that the probability value is smaller than the 0.05. So hypothesis 0 for this model is rejected. So a better estimate to use is the fixed effect model method. Then proceed to the Hausman test. And the Hausman test result, based on the result of the Hausman test using if you stand, a probability of 0.7567 was obtained, indicating that the probability value is greater than the significance level 0.05. So it can be concluded that hypothesis 0 for this model is accepted. So that the base on Hausman test, the best random effect model was obtained. Then the Lagrange multiplier test was carried out. And then using Lagrange multiplier test result. The result of the Lagrange multiplier test shows that the Bruce-Pagan-Bott test obtained a probability value of 0.000. This shows that the probability values is less than 0.05. So that the decision hypothesis 0 is rejected. And the conclusion is that the best model in the research on the influence of company's ownership structure on investment efficiency is random effect model. Then the classic assumption test. Based on the normality result above, it is known that the probability values obtained is 0.0000. It is less than 0.05. So it is concluded that the data is not normally distributed. However, referring to the Hare et al. 2010, which states that if the data exceeds 200 respondents, it can be assumed to be normally distributed. And then the multicollinearity test result. Based on the result of the multicollinearity test above, it can be seen that the correlation of value between independent variables is less than 0.8. So it can be seen that the correlation between independent variable is low. So the analysis model is in these studies is free from multicollinearity. And then the heterogedasticity test. The heterogedasticity test shows that the probability value of 0.9987 is greater than the 0.05. So was concluded that there was no heterogedasticity in the data. And then overall ESD disclosure regression model. It shows that a constant value of 1.234235A indicates that if all independent variables and control variables have a value of 0, then the investment efficiency values is 1.2358. And then the ESG disclosure coefficient value is 0.0274. indicating that the ESG disclosure has a negative influence on investment efficiency because it is have a negative coefficient value. So it can be since that if ESG disclosure increases by 1%, investment efficiency will decrease by 0.0274 units and vice versa. And then the coefficient value of financial information opened is 0.3538, indicating that the financial information opened has a positive influence on investment efficiency because it has a positive coefficient value. So it can be seen that if the value of financial information disclosure increased by 1 unit, investment efficiency will increase by 0.3538 units. And then the value of the thinkability coefficient is minus 0.8517, which indicates that the thinkability has a significant influence on investment efficiency because it has a negative coefficient. If the thinkability value increased by 1 unit, investment efficiency will decrease by 0.8517 units. And then the leverage coefficient value is 1.0011, indicating that the leverage has a positive influence on investment efficiency because it has a positive coefficient value. So it can be seen that if leverage increase by 1 unit, investment efficiency will increase by 1.0011 units. And then the company performance coefficient value is 0.0085. This is indicating that the company performance has a positive influence on investment efficiency because it has a positive coefficient value. So it can be seen that if the company's performance value increased by 1%, investment efficiency will increase by 0.0085 units. The overall disclosure regression model using statistical test result. The result of the data processing in the table above shows a probability value of 0.000317 and a calculate F value of 4.82 because of the probability value is smaller than 0.05 and the calculate F value is 4.82. It is more than F table, that is 2.4086. The decision hypothesis 0 is rejected, as well as the conclusion that ESG disclosure, financial information disclosure, tangibility, leverage, and company performance have a significant effect on investment efficiency. And then the t-test result. In the table above, it is known that the ESG disclosure variable, a probability value of 0.0010 is obtained, which is smaller than 0.05. So that the decision hypothesis 0 is rejected, and the conclusion is that the ESG disclosure has a significant effect on investment efficiency. And in the financial information disclosure variable, a probability value of 0.0383 is obtained, which is smaller than 0.05. So the decision hypothesis 0 is rejected. And the conclusion is that the financial information disclosure has a significant effect on investment efficiency. And then the tankability variable, a probability value of 0.0977 is obtained, which is greater than the 0.05. So the decision hypothesis 0 is accepted, and the conclusion is that tankability has no significant effect on investment efficiency. This can be because tankability can become less flexible and difficult to adapt to a rapid market change. In contrast, companies with strong intangible assets can more quickly adapt their strategies to change market condition, increasing the efficiency of their investment. And then the leverage variable, the probability value is 0.0297, which is smaller than 0.05. So that the decision hypothesis 0 is rejected. And the conclusion is the leverage has a significant effect on investment efficiency. In the table above, it is known that the company performance variable obtained a probability values 0.3021, which is greater than the 0.05. So that the decision hypothesis 0 is accepted. And the conclusion is that company performance has no significant effect on investment efficiency. This can be because investment efficiency is often influenced by external factors compared to the company's internal performance. And then the coefficient of determination test result. The result of the analysis is the table above shows that is the regression model, the R-square value is 0.1401. This indicates that the variable ESG disclosure, financial information disclosure, tangibility, leverage, and company performance have an influence of 14.1% on investment efficiency. And then the respective ESG disclosure regression model. It shows a constant value of 0.7896, indicates that all of independent variables and control variables have a values of 1, then the investment efficiency values is 0.7896. And then the environmental disclosure coefficient value is 0.004, indicating that the environmental disclosure has a negative influence on an investment efficiency because it has a negative coefficient value. So it can be seen that if the environmental disclosure increased by 1%, investment efficiency will decrease by 0.004 units. And then the coefficient value of social disclosure is 0.0148, indicating that the social disclosure has a negative influence on investment efficiency because it has a negative coefficient value. So it can be seen on if social disclosure increases by 1%, investment efficiency will decrease by 0.0148 units. And then the coefficient value of governance disclosure is 0.0015. This is indicating that the governance disclosure has a negative influence on investment efficiency because it has a negative coefficient value. So it can be that if social disclosure increases by 1%, investment efficiency will decrease by 0.0148 units. And then the coefficient value of financial information disclosure is 0.4, indicating that the financial information opens has a positive influences on investment efficiency because it has a positive coefficient values. So it can be seen that if the value of financial information disclosure increases by 1 unit, investment efficiency will decrease by 0.4 units. And then the regression model is, it shows that the value of the tangibility coefficient is minus 0.7152, which indicates that the tangibility has a negative influence on investment efficiency because it has a negative coefficient. If the tangibility variable increased by 1 unit, investment efficiency will decrease by 0.7152 units. And then the leverage coefficient values is 0.887, indicating that the leverage has a positive influences on investment efficiency because it has a positive coefficient value. So it can be seen that if the leverage increases by 1 unit, investment efficiency will decrease by 0.887 units. And then the company performance coefficient value is 0.006. This is indicating that the company performance has a positive influence on investment efficiency because it has a positive coefficient value. So it can be seen that if the company's performance value increased by 1%, investment efficiency will increase by 0.006 units. And then the F statistical test result. The result of the data processing shows that probability value of the 0.00531 and calculate a value of 2.96 because the probability value is smaller than 0.05 and the calculate F value is 2.96 is more than F table, that is 2.4086. The decision hypothesis 0 is rejected, as well as the conclusion that environmental, social, and government disclosure, financial information disclosure, tangibility, leverage, and company performance have a significant effect on investment efficiency. And then the t-test result. It shows that the environmental disclosure variable obtain a probability values of 0.3833, which is greater than 0.05. So the decision of hypothesis 0 is accepted. And the conclusion is that the environmental disclosure does not have a significant effect on investment efficiency. And in the table above, it's known that the social disclosure variable of probability values is 0.0116 is obtained, which is smaller than 0.05. So the decision hypothesis 0 is rejected. And the conclusion is that the social disclosure has a significant effect on investment efficiency. And then the environmental disclosure variable obtain a probability value of 0.3833, which is greater than 0.05. So that the decision hypothesis 0 is accepted. And the conclusion is environmental disclosure doesn't have significant effect on investment efficiency. And then the government disclosure variable of probability values of 0.5271 is obtained, which is greater than 0.05. So that the decision hypothesis 0 is accepted. And the conclusion is the government's disclosure doesn't have significant effect on investment efficiency. And then the financial information disclosure variable. A probability value is 0.0197 is obtained, which is smaller than 0.05. So that the decision hypothesis 0 is rejected. And the conclusion is openness on financial information has a significant effect on investment efficiency. And then the tankability variable of probability values is 0.1626 is obtained, which is greater than the 0.05. That the decision hypothesis 0 is accepted, and the conclusion is tankability has no significant effect on investment efficiency. And then the leverage variable, the probability values is 0.0557, which is greater than 0.05. So the decision hypothesis 0 is accepted. And the conclusion is the leverage has no significant effect on investment efficiency. And then the company performance variable obtained a probability value of 0.4678, which is greater than 0.05. So that the decision hypothesis 0 is accepted. And the conclusion is that company performance has no significant effect on investment efficiency. And then the result of the analysis coefficient of determination the test result shows that in the regression model, the R-squared value is 0.1327. This indicates that the variable environmental disclosure, social disclosure, and governance disclosure, financial information disclosure, sustainability, leverage, and company performance have an influence of 13.27% on investment efficiency. And then the model regressy with method robust test. It shows a constant value of minus 0.3203 indicates that if all independent variable and control variable have a value of 0, then the investment efficiency value is minus 0.3203. The ESG disclosure coefficient values is 0.006. This is indicating that environmental disclosure has a positive influence on investment efficiency because it has a positive efficient value. So it can be seen that if ESG disclosure decreases by 1%, investment efficiency will increase by 0.006 units. And then the coefficient value of financial information openness is minus 0.03. This is indicating that financial information openness has a negative influence on investment efficiency because it has a negative coefficient value. So it can be seen that if the value of financial information disclosure increase by 1 unit, investment efficiency will decrease by 0.03. And the value of the tankability coefficient is minus 0.135, which indicates that the tankability has a negative influence on investment efficiency because it has a negative coefficient. If a tankability values increase by 1 unit, investment efficiency will decrease by minus 0.135 units. And then the leverage coefficient variable values indicating that the is 0.0729. This is indicating that the leverage has a positive influence on investment efficiency because it has a positive coefficient values. So it can be seen that if a leverage increase by 1 unit, investment efficiency will increase by 0.0729 units. And then the company performance coefficient values is 0.00217. This is indicating that the company performance has a positive influence on investment efficiency because it has a positive coefficient values. So it can be seen that if the company's performance increase by 1%, investment efficiency will increase by 0.00217 unit. And then the t-test result. The t-test result shows that ESG disclosure variable obtain a probability values of 0.2704, which is greater than the 0.05. So that the decision of hypothesis 0 is accepted, and the conclusion is that the ESG disclosure doesn't have a significant effect on efficiency investment. And then the financial information disclosure variable, a probability values of 0.001 obtained, which is smaller than the 0.005. So this is decision hypothesis 0 is rejected. And the conclusion is that openness of financial information disclosure has a significant effect on investment efficiency. And then the tankability variable, probability values of 0.5715 is obtained, which is greater than 0.05. So the decision of hypothesis 0 is accepted. And the conclusion is that tankability has no significant effect on investment efficiency. And then the leverage variable, the probability values is 0.0018, which is smaller than 0.05. So the decision of hypothesis 0 is rejected. And the conclusion is that leverage has no significant effect on investment efficiency. And then the company performance variable obtain probability values 0.0000, which is smaller than 0.05. So the decision of hypothesis 0 accepted. And the conclusion is the company performance has no significant effect on investment efficiency. And then the R2 test result is the result of the analysis. And the table above shows that in the regression model R-square, value is 0.05926. This indicates that the ESG disclosure variable, financial information disclosure, tangibility, leverage, and company performance have an influence of 5.93% on investment efficiency. The company's info rotation value is 469.641. These values aim to find out how well the model is for. The smaller the value, the better the model. The value is method is 468.641. This shows that the model is still not good enough. The discussion of the research is the influence on environmental, social, and governance disclosure on investment efficiency in environmentally sensitive industrial companies in ASEAN 5 from 2018 till 2022. The ESG disclosure variable has a significant influence on investment efficiency. The statistical test results have a probability less than 0.05. So the first hypothesis 1, ESG disclosure has a significant effect on investment efficiency is accepted. The negative influence shows that the higher level of ESG disclosure, the lower of the investment efficiency in environmentally sensitive industrial companies in ASEAN 5. Based on the analysis of each disclosure item, it is known that the environmental disclosure and governance disclosure don't have effect on investment efficiency, but social disclosure has a significant influence. And then the effect of financial information disclosure on investment efficiency in environmentally sensitive industrial companies in ASEAN 5 from 2018 till 2022. Openness on financial information has a significant influence on investment efficiency, has a significant value of less than 0.05. So the second hypothesis that openness of financial information has a significant effect on investment efficiency is accepted. The influence given a positive influence, so that the higher the openness of financial information, the higher the investment efficiency in the environmentally sensitive industrial companies in ASEAN 5. The conclusion of this research is 1. Environmental, social, and governance disclosure have a negative and significant influence on investment efficiency in environmentally sensitive industrial companies in ASEAN 5 from 2018 till 2022. The higher the ESG disclosure, the lower the investment efficiency in the company. These results are not in line with the research conducted by Lily 2022 and Padri and Anissa 2024, which state that ESG has a positive effect on investment efficiency. So hypothesis 1 is rejected. And then the financial information disclosure has a positive and significant influence on investment efficiency in environmentally sensitive industrial companies in ASEAN 5 from 2018 till 2022. The higher the level of financial information disclosure, the higher the investment efficiency in the company. These results are in line with research conducted by Fataya and Toto 2022 and Maulana and Reddy 2022, which state that the quality of financial reports has a significant positive influence on investment efficiency. So hypothesis 2 is accepted. And then the application of this research is the implication of this research is the importance of paying attention to environmental, social, and governance factor, as well as risk factor for financial information disclosure that influence in investment efficiency. By having an efficiency ESG strategy and sharing that strategy, business can demonstrate their effort in mitigating risk and how they can generate long-term financial benefit that relate to business and society. Sales and public image improve well, thereby increasing by company value. And then the result of this research also shows that the risk of financial information disclosure has a positive effect on investment efficiency. And then indirectly, it turns out that companies that have disclosed high quality financial reports can maximize the level of investment efficiency through minimal information asymmetry between manager and shareholders. And then the implication for the investor, namely that it can be a consideration for investor in making investment decisions so that they are efficient, which are reflected based on the presentation of quality financial reports. Because quality reports show the real condition of the company where no information is hidden by company management. The suggestion for further research could focus on country to show it whether there are differences in result in 5 countries are used to compare to only one countries. Suggestion for the related companies can maintain corporate financial transparency and increase the investment efficiency on related companies. That completes my presentation for today. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.